This is a losing battle. 100 other monsters will show up to replace anyone you take down.
Hi friends, and welcome back to our channel for another marvelous video. Matt Reeves really knocked it out of the park with Robert Pattinson's rendition of The Dark Knight in the recent Batman movie. Now Reeves is set to re-team for Batman Caped Crusader with J.J. Abrams and legendary artist Bruce Timm for an animated series on Amazon Prime. Yes, the same Bruce Timm who made the beloved 90s animated show with the iconic theme music. Don't start singing now. The recently released trailer exudes a typical noir energy and showcases Batman in his true stealth and investigative glory. If you have not checked it out yet, I suggest you pause this video, open another tab, and do so now. This news is thrilling for us fans because Batman truly shines in animation. Wouldn't you agree? The series promises to bring all the highs and thrills that are expected from a Batman lore, as well as the rogues gallery of all-time classic to new villains. So now, without further ado, let's go through all the confirmed villains for Batman Caped Crusader. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Harvey Dent, Two-Face. The first bad guy on our list is none other than Two-Face. One of the saddest stories in Batman's world is Harvey Dent's transformation from the once promising district attorney of Gotham City to the evil Two-Face, who was formerly one of Batman's closest allies. Harvey Dent was a fierce and committed public servant who was ardently dedicated to purging Gotham of its rotten, pervasive corruption and criminality. Tragically, one day, during a court trial, the mafia boss Sal Maroni poured acid on his face, hideously disfiguring half of it. And that's when his life changed dramatically. It was in this final transformation that lay the deeply subconscious schism that had so far divided Dent's single psyche into two halves, both jettisoned against one another at an unprecedented scale, one driven by chaos and revenge, the other taking the side of righting wrongs. Two-Face is concerned with duality and change and frequently bases his decisions on the flip of a distinctive coin, one side clean and the other side disfigured. Due to his concern with binary choices and fate, he is Batman's most unusual and unpredictable enemy. Two-Face's deeds serve as a continual reminder to Batman of the delicate line between heroism and villainy, and how quickly one can fall from grace. We all remember Nolan's Dark Knight. In Batman Caped Crusader, the inclusion of Two-Face promises to add a layer of depth and complexity. In the trailer, we see Harvey Dent with his face intact, which means there's no telling what role Harvey Dent will play once half of his face gets burned and he becomes Two-Face. Harvey possesses the rage that inspires him to start controlling Gotham his own way, which is something we're familiar with from Batman the Animated Series. Coincidentally, this new show is very much inspired by the iconic 90s animated show. From the look, feel, and character design to the sound, led by the same head producer, Bruce Timm, this show comes off as a spiritual prequel but with a different narrative. Two-Face represents the precarious equilibrium between chaos and order in Gotham, and is more than simply another villain. Batman will be tested not just physically, but also psychologically and morally by his presence, making the Dark Knight face the shadowy parts of both his enemies and himself. Onomatopoeia. The next villain on our list is the enigmatic and lethal Onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is one of the more obscure yet intriguing foes in Batman's rogues gallery. Created by writer Kevin Smith and artist Phil Hester in 2002, Onomatopoeia made his first debut in Green Arrow issue number 12. The character is weird in a way that his habit is to mimic sounds around him, including gunshots, dripping water, and even the sound of a beating heart, which gives him his distinctive moniker. Though he has sometimes encountered Batman, Onomatopoeia has mostly opposed both the Oliver Queen and Connor Hawke version of Green Arrow since his conception. However, there is ample evidence linking Onomatopoeia to the criminal underbelly of Gotham. He also goes by his secret name of Baphomet, a vigilante who befriends Batman before betraying him by murdering Silver St. Cloud, his girlfriend. Unlike most of Batman's rogues gallery, Onomatopoeia possesses none of the mad superpowers or tragic past that otherwise drive them towards villainy. He's just a highly skilled assassin, who's methodical in his malice. Oh yeah, another thing. He also targets superheroes across the country. That sounds like a character suited to be the member of the Boys. Butcher, I hope you're watching this. Donning an all-black costume with a chillingly simple white circle on his face, in allusion to his name, he can even outperform in combat, sharpshooting, and tactics. What makes Onomatopoeia especially threatening is his anonymity and cold, unemotional demeanor. His real identity is never known, and he shows no emotion or emotional connection to his actions. This lack of empathy, coupled with his creepy sound mimicry, makes for a real upsetting character. Onomatopoeia's inclusion in Batman the Caped Crusader promises a new and exciting challenge for Batman. Given the series' noirish tone, it will be intriguing to see if the Baphomet plot continues or if the makers have thought of some other story for our creepy sound-mimicking sociopath friend here. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Firebug. The next villain on our list is the incendiary Firebug. Firebug is one of those lesser-known yet deadly foes in Batman's extensive rogues gallery. The character made his first appearance in Batman issue 318 in 1979. Before becoming Firebug, Joe Rigger was a soldier and a regular demolition expert until tragedy struck him, and he decided to use his skills for a life of crime. When he returns to Gotham City, he discovers that his family had died in a number of accidents. Rigger attributed his ill fortune to the city's buildings and went out to vent his frustrations on the buildings that he deemed responsible through his incendiary technology. Adopting the identity of Firebug, Rigger built a suit and gained incendiary-based weapons with technologies that included flamethrowers, fire grenades, and fire-resisting armor. Because of his capacity to start and manage fires, Firebug is a very dangerous foe who can wreak havoc and confusion with his flaming attacks. There's also enough potential for Firebug to surely cause some visually striking moments that could bring extreme contrast between Gotham's gloom and the brilliant catastrophic fires that the character ignites. His fight with the city's infrastructure is also an opportunity to learn more about Gotham's architectural heritage and unravel hidden mysteries within its buildings. This is fiery exciting, isn't it? See what I did there? Clayface. The next villain on our list is the shape-shifting terror Clayface. Of all of Batman's foes, Clayface might stand out as both the most versatile and tragic, with a history spanning incarnations. The most iconic iteration of the character was Basil Karlo, an actor famous in his day who slipped into relative obscurity after being replaced in a remake of his most popular movie. Fueled by jealousy and rage, Karlo took on the persona of that film's villain, Clayface, and started a life of crime. After being exposed to a unique mutagenic substance, he soon developed powers of shapeshifting. This transformation enabled him to change his appearance at will into any person or thing, thus becoming almost an unstoppable force. His body is made of living clay, which he can stretch, mold, and reshape to form any figure, thus making him second to none at disguising and infiltration. The real tragic element of Clayface's story is his struggle with identity and humanity. What his transformation into a monstrous being really did was cancel out part of the self and drive him even deeper into madness and villainy. Paradoxically, although functionally superior, Clayface yearns for his former life and normalcy, creating a character imbued with pathos. Clayface's inclusion in Batman Caped Crusader creates a distinct cinematic enemy. His shape-shifting ability creates action-packed tension scenarios, where he may appear in any identity and be anywhere. Hugo Strange. With its ultra-noir, 1940s-esque take on Gotham, the first trailer for Batman Caped Crusader is full of villains, but one of the more notable inclusions is Hugo Strange, a dark psychologist and criminal scientist who turned to a life of crime himself. Strange goes on a quest to prove his superiority over Batman, and one day seeks to replace the Dark Knight. However, there's a twist. Although the trailer shows Strange with a grotesque dent where his mouth should be, leaving little more than a cavity within disfigured flesh, there's a good reason to believe that this may actually be Clayface, in a desperate attempt to pull a fast one on Batman. Hugo Strange is most famous as the main antagonist in Rocksteady's video game Arkham City. Leave us a comment if you love that game. He was one of the earliest villains to ever uncover Batman's secret identity as Bruce Wayne, having made his debut in Detective Comics number 36 in 1940, only 15 issues after the debut of Batman. What makes Hugo Strange so genuinely dangerous an adversary is his intellectual and psychological brilliance. He repeatedly uses his knowledge of the mind to manipulate and outsmart his enemies. Although Hugo Strange is usually depicted as a bald, bearded man, this is a younger Hugo Strange to fit in with the early period of Batman. And if he really is Clayface, well, that would make things more interesting. Scarecrow. Okay, shifting gears now. Next up on our list is the Master of Fear himself, Scarecrow. Scarecrow is among the most popular Batman foes, right next to Joker, Penguin, and Two-Face. Real name Dr. Jonathan Crane. He's considered to be one of Batman's most psychologically intense foes. First to appear in World's Finest Comics issue 3 back in the year 1941, the former professor of psychology and psychiatry had an obsession with the concept of fear. This obsession led him at one point in his life to cook up a number of fear-inducing toxins and don the Scarecrow persona to terrorize Gotham City. Dr. Crane's toxin is a strong hallucinogen that makes victims see their worst fears. It might even throw them into panic and insanity. Therefore, Scarecrow is considered one of Batman's most dangerous enemies, since unlike others, he does not attack the body but the mind by playing with the deepest anxieties of fear within his victim. The fear toxin adds another perfect vehicle for the noir and horror aspects of Gotham City, an effect that washes down through the shadows of supposed hero and populace alike. Depending on its visual representation, it can contribute to surreal and and haunting elements that give drama a natural atmospheric touch. The origin story of Scarecrow as a brilliant and twisted psychologist gives his character a lot of depth. His transformation from an illustrious academic to a villain compelled by his own fears and obsessions almost parallels that of Batman, proving it's difficult to know where heroism ends and villainy begins. One thing is for sure, Scarecrow's appearance in Batman Caped Crusader will definitely create riveting and psychologically taxing episodes. Carmine Falcone. Next up on our list is the crime lord known as Carmine Falcone, sometimes referred to as the Roman. Carmine Falcone is one of Gotham City's most powerful crime lords. The character was created by Frank Miller and David Mazzucchelli, and first appeared in 1987 in Batman Year One. He's the leader of the Falcone crime family, commanding a massive criminal empire dealing in drug trafficking, extortion, and money laundering. His tentacles grab deep into Gotham's political and legal worlds. Additionally, Falcone has Gotham almost in his tight grip, thus making him quite a peerlessly invincible enemy to Batman. Compared with most of the flamboyant villains that Batman faces, Falcone comes across as old-school organized crime. His strong criminal activities are ruthless in terms of efficiency, and his power is interred up through the upper crust of Gotham City, hence the danger he poses, like a will-o'-the-wisp. The addition of Carmine Falcone in Batman the Caped Crusader serves to elaborate on the character of Batman in this early time in his life, wherein he needs to prove himself as established in Gotham, as it has been perceived in the Batman movie. Falcone's character is deeply tied to the past of Gotham and his relations with other characters who represent the strong personas of Gotham in both its political and underworld landscape of crime. Batman has to keep his foot away from a net full of intrigue and conflicts of interest from local police, politicians, and other criminals. Speaking of other criminals, let's check out this next baddie. The Penguin. Next up on our list is the cunning and devious Oswald Cobblepot, better known as the Penguin, one of Gotham's most recognizable and unforgettable villains. The Penguin is distinguished by his unusual looks, his grasp of humor and intellect, and his preference for ornithological topics. Developed by Bob Kane and Bill Finger, he made his debut in 1941's Detective Comics issue number 58. He's a ruthless gangster, mobster, and leader of the underground who's feared and respected for his cunning, inventiveness, and brutality. Other than this, the Penguin is known for his scheme-filled activities and his umbrellas that turn into gadgets, most of which have weapon parts or other built-in contraptions. Physically, he's also the most unique villain among the rogues gallery Batman keeps, as he's noticeably short, rotund, and suavely dressed. Interestingly, a new live-action television show centered around the Penguin debuts soon on the big network, chronicling his roots and rise to importance in Gotham City. This is the kind of series that will dig deep into Oswald Cobblepot, giving readers a new perspective on one of the most interesting nemesis to ever face off with Batman. He's a complex individual who demonstrates that his illicit activities are motivated by ambition, insecurity, and the need for attention. Batman and Penguin are engaged in a battle that's mostly cerebral in nature, since they must outwit and outgun one another. The Penguin's inclusion in Batman Caped Crusader is sure to provide some very interesting storytelling and character development. The way he connects with other villains, with whom he shares a complicated, nuanced relationship, and his connection to Gotham City will lend much depth to the series. Riveting episodes await, where power, identity, and the blurry edges of hero and bad guy come together. Buckle up. Harley Quinn. Next up is Harley Quinn. Harley is a very complicated and dangerous character. Her real name is Dr. Harleen Quinzel, who was a scholarly person at Arkham Asylum before becoming insanely in love with the Joker, and hence becoming his most loyal assistant and henchman. In the first trailer for Batman Caped Crusader, Harley Quinn seems very different from her regular self. In this early version, she appears to be a true killer with an edge, donning a creepy mask or face paint, which slightly contrasts the carefree and chaotic figure she plays in other mediums. She does not mention her puddin' or give any other indication that she's connected to the Joker. Instead, she mentions King's being dead and goes on to explain how she's planning on taking over the criminal underworld of Gotham, perhaps hinting at a feminist arc. Harley's depth will probably come across in Jamie Chung's voice acting, which can combine her dark humor with determined and reflective moments. Harley Quinn's presence in the show ensures exciting and thought-provoking episodes that explore issues of power, identity, and the implications of obsession, regardless of whether she supports or opposes Batman. Catwoman. Finishing up our list strong with Selina Kyle, Catwoman. Selina Kyle is one of Gotham's most intriguing characters. Voiced by the iconic Christina Ricci, the OG Wednesday Addams, Selina Kyle would bring a blend of charm, cunning, and vulnerability to Batman Caped Crusader. In the trailer, Catwoman's introduction foreshadows yet another charged chapter in her stormy relationship with Batman. Her look is taken from the classic purple dress costume from the Golden Age. We see the couple running around on a rooftop. This version of Catwoman ignites the question in viewers' minds of whether Bruce Wayne is eventually likely going to figure out who Selina Kyle is, and vice versa. A relationship built on tension and mutual interest in each other is laden with intrigue. Much like in the Golden Age comics, will Bruce struggle with his duty as Batman and possibly raise emotions towards Selina? Furthermore, Catwoman's appearance in Batman Caped Crusader should demonstrate her strong affiliations with the underworld of Gotham. Yes, I mean the Falcones and the Maronis, which helps her maintain whatever enormous vantage position one would think of. She'll have a lot of interesting interactions with the rest of the characters, where intrigues and conflicts are promised in huge, delightful portions. Raise your hands in the comments section if you're excited. Who else? Many believe that Gentleman Ghost will show up in Batman Caped Crusader, because a character shown for half a second in the trailer is covered in the telling blue aura that makes up the ghostly villain's design. Another long-expected series addition missing in the trailer is Nocturna, a vampire character. Bruce Timm really wanted to add Nocturna to the 1990s animated series, but got rejected by the network. So does that mean she finally makes an appearance? You tell me. Marvelous verdict. Here in Marvelous Videos, we believe Batman Caped Crusader will not only be full of action, but also have a deep storyline that drags us into the most obscure alleyways of Gotham City. Spearheaded by a creative team that includes Bruce Timm, Matt Reeves, and J.J. Abrams, this show should balance nostalgia and innovation, staying true to the spirit of an unforgettable animated series from times past, while giving a new twist on familiar characters. From its very brooding noir aesthetic to the depths of its villains' motivations, each episode is poised to challenge the game with real storytelling and animation appeal. With Batman against a rogues gallery that includes the psychologically wrong and the supernaturally horrific, viewers can expect deep dives into the human condition, keen looks at moral ambiguity, and the timeless struggle between darkness and justice. Batman Caped Crusader should not only entertain, but also engage the senses in this new, redefined legacy of the Dark Knight in the world of animation. How excited are you for this show? Let us know in the comments below. If you like this video, remember to hit the like button and share this video with everyone you know. I'll see you in the next one.